Where did it go? What's going on, everybody? No intro today. I botched it. Or better yet, welcome back to Alarm Fantasy Football. He's Andrew Cooper. I'm Howard Bender. Let's get it on.
I kind of like that.
Much better.
I kind of like the cold open. Should we start doing a cold open for the intro?
You like the cold open, say a couple of words, and then bam, hit him with it?
I don't know. Chat, let us know what you think on that. I see you guys hanging out already. Crockett Martin says, good luck, everyone. He's in today's draft. Icy through Victor, of course, everyone's favorite. Chat Cat, Scampers is in the house. Scanny, what's happening, everybody? We're back. So last week, we took a week off the family best ball drafts. Howard and I needed to secure our large chunk of the $15 million in Best Ball Mania. Happy Lottery Day, by the way, Howard. National Lottery Day
Happy
today.
National Lottery Day, Coop.
Yes, but we couldn't leave the family in the cold for another week. So what we're doing today, we said, you know what? No guests today. We're doing me, Howard, 10 family members. And I said, first come, first serve. So you know what happens when that happens, right, Howard? It's all.
Oh, yeah. It's immediately. It's the exact same people over and over again. Not that we don't love you, Icy Through You, and Rex Timotheus and the whole gang. But yeah, you know, I think, is Ponch Rio in here too?
Yes, he is. So the whole gang's here. But we do have one brand new member, not just brand new to these drafts, but a brand new Fantasy Alarm member. Picked up his copy of the draft guide, became a member. So shout out to Hoosier Devos. He's in as a family member. This is his first show. Right after the show, I'm going to give him his badge in the Discord because, I mean, dude, talk about taking advantage of a membership. He gets in the Discord immediately, gets in one of these Wednesday live drafts with us. That's how you do it. And if you want to do that with us this year, go out, get a all-pro membership right now at fantasyalarm.com/win, Howard. And I also checked, for the record, fantasyalarm.com/let's go also does go to a promo code page. You killed me on the radio last night. It does go to a promo code page, but you go over there, use promo code Let's Go. You get 50% off your first month. Or if you want to dive head first in, you get 40% off the entire year. A lot of options available, but that's how you get in these drafts with us. It's how you get the Fantasy Alarm draft guide that's out now. It's how you get Yin and Yang tight end. It's how you get Malin's offensive line rankings, Howard's offensive schemes, all the good stuff. It's all available now, but enough about that. Let's get into today's draft. Let's get going. What we're doing, $5 underdog draft. Howard's going to join right now. It'll kick us off. It's a contained league, so not big tournament strategies. But Howard, today I'm using a gimmick.
Oh, are you? What? Why? I'd like to know what kind of gimmick here as I get things set up because I can't wait to. I'll probably make fun of you, but yeah, what do you got?
You can probably make fun of you. I'm going to draft either the best team ever or the worst team ever today. I was reading John and Pemba's wide receiver tiers article that's in the draft guide now. And he said something in there that really spoke to me. He said that he doesn't like any wide receivers in the second round. And I said to myself, there's all these sleepers and all these picks I like later. What if, Howard? What if I took fantasy underdog ADP and I removed the entire second and third round? And you know, I'm going to make my first round pick because we like all the first round players. I moved the entire second and third round at every position. And I just started picking, reaching like by multiple rounds for all the guys that I truly believe in, even if it's way too early to take all of them, and just got all my guys. What if I did that today?
Wait. Say that one more time. I gotta like reshare this somehow. I think I just screwed the whole thing up here. So let me get to a new.
Yeah, leave me big here because this is what's going on.
I will leave you big. Yeah, say it again.
I removed the entire second and third round of players. I'm not picking anybody that goes in ADP from picks like 12 all the way to 36. Took them off my board. I don't care if they're there. And then what I'm going to do is take my favorite player from each tier, from each round, starting in like the 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th rounds, so that at the end of this draft, I will only have my guys, my flag plant guys, even if I'm maybe missing out on a little bit of quote unquote value from those early groups. I'm going to get so many of my guys. I actually pared my rankings down, Howard. There's only 100 players even on here. And if you look at the players I have highlighted, it's even fewer than that. So big strategy here. I want to see how it looks. If it looks good, I might do this in a Best Ball Mania and see if I can really plant my flag. What do you think about that? You think stupid?
No, listen,
stupid like a fox.
I think you have to mix it up, especially if you're going to be doing a tournament draft, whether it's a contained draft or a tournament draft. I'm always a huge proponent in mixing things up. I think you have to, in a lot of ways. I think it's a must for people because, you get too caught up in the same guys. You get too caught up in all of that. I'm on the clock right now. I guess I got to make a choice here real quick. So I'll tell you what, I am going to make it easy on myself and just take myself a little Garrett Wilson right there.
Yep. Here we go. So, okay, we got the draft order. First round's in, all pretty chalk. We got Ponch picking at 1, our new guy at 2, Hoosier in the house. Shout out Hoosier. Hamburglar. We got Crockett Martin at 4. Steel Lifer, that's Jay Gord, is picking at 5. Icy through at 6. Obi-Wan Outlaw, of course, at 7. Rarelin at 8. Yours truly at 9. Then we got Fatty at 10, Fatty McFats. Rotobuzz guy has Howard at 11, and Sigma Chi in the house at 12. Sigma Chi. I always do that. Okay. I've made my pick.
Greek. It's fine.
I do not. I made my pick in the first round, and I picked AJ Brown. I'm now going to delete the second and third round of ADP and just start picking my guys. And with this pick, I'm going to take Josh Jacobs.
There you go.
I see no reason why Josh Jacobs, after this offseason, right, becomes a free agent, gets signed to a very similar contract to Saquon Barkley, to an ascending offense where a lot of touchdowns can be available. Why do Jonathan Taylor and Saquon Barkley go where they go and Josh Jacobs doesn't go higher than the 4th round? So here we go. We're already in. I can even justify my pick, Howard. Let's go.
I love it, man. I love it. And to your point here, one of the things that I've always said, and I've said this about mock drafts, especially because, first and foremost, doing a best ball draft, whether it's a contained draft or a tournament draft, is not the way you prep for a season-long draft. It's just not. You're drafting in 2 different styles. You're drafting, you're swinging for the fences for some upside in tournament drafts. You're going with the flow in a contained draft, and you're picking different guys for a best ball format in comparison to a season-long format where you need high floor guys in there. Like, you need some stability with your roster because you can swing for the fences, but like in a tournament draft, you can swing for the fences all day long. In a season long, you can't do that. That's the whole concept of the dynamic tier rankings that we have in the Fantasy Alarm Draft Guide that you'll be able to check out. And the reasons for that, you get upside here, but get some high floor here to kind of balance your roster. But I love what you're doing here and the way you're kind of mixing it up, because I also do this in mock drafts. And I always tell this to people: before you go into your home league, before you go into your important, like the league that matters the most to you, do a mock draft.
Yes.
Like a legit mock draft. Don't go to ESPN or Yahoo and have somebody like walk out of the mock after the first 3 rounds. Do a legitimate mock draft, and we'll help you along with that here over at Fantasy Alarm. And I'll do a run of mock drafts for everybody in the month of August. But I always do a draft, Coop, where I don't take a single guy I like in the sense that guys who I've been drafting for the last 2 months, players who I absolutely love that maybe the public isn't in on that much or whatever. And I do that because I want to make sure that I'm not reaching too far up. I want to see what public perception actually looks like when it comes to certain players. So am I the one who's driving up that ADP on Josh Jacobs? It's possible, but I'm gonna find out. And to do it that way, just do a mock where you're taking guys that you don't normally take and just see how it works.
And I'll tell you, doing that, like pivoting to your next guy and couple guys on purpose in the mocks and in these, you get more comfortable with doing that. And last year, in a couple of situations, it was the best thing that could have happened to me. For instance, in the Scott Fish Bowl, our buddy Mike Fiella, Daddy's Home FF, he loves to do it how Howard does, and just take my guys on purpose. And he reached for Dalton Kincaid. But I already knew that when someone takes Dalton Kincaid, I take Sam Laporta. So in the Scott Fish Bowl, I just turned around, I took Sam Laporta. One of the best things that happened to me, right? Because I knew who to go to next. And I counted for the possibility that maybe we don't know everything. Maybe we could be wrong. And Icy threw correctly in the chat, pointing out that I was going to take Josh Jacobs. He put that in the chat, Howard, two minutes before I actually made that pick. All right, but here we go. Now I am at least a full round still above ADP, and I'm going to try and stay there. So we're going to go to Amari Cooper. We're going to go to Amari Cooper, right? We're going to skip over. I mean, it hurts. I'm trying not to even look at the, Cooper Kupp and DJ Moore and all those guys that are still on the board, but I'm staying at least a round ahead to ensure that I get only guys I like. I want to see what this looks like, because what if you always have to ask yourself, what if you are exactly right this year? What if all your takes are right, but you never took a chance to go into Best Ball Mania and just pick exactly your guys? I give yourself that chance, especially on today, National Lottery Day, Howard. If there was ever a day, today's the day, right? Let's get the coin, put your coins in and see what gets pushed over the edge.
I love National Lottery Day. I certainly do. Especially now we're like, we're swinging for some fences. We're swinging for some upside. And yeah, listen, here you go. The Malik Neighbors pick. I'm taking a guy who I don't normally take at all. I'm diving into your wackiness, Coop.
Yeah, well, you be careful with that, because now you're gonna end up taking on my guys. All right, here we go. I have to scroll down. I am going to scroll down here and take Chris Godwin.
A favorite of yours. Like, that's not a stretch for you to make Godwin your wide receiver 3. That's not a strange one.
I know, and it doesn't feel bad, but I did have to scroll past 20 guys to make the pick.
Past Cooper Kupp, past Tank Dell, past T. Higgins. I hear you.
Now everybody take all those guys. Please someone take Cooper Kupp. We got a Rams, Auntie Coop in the house, Rams fan in the house. Say Cooper Kupp sitting on the top of the board. Someone please take him, just to put me out of my misery here. Because I would have taken him 2 rounds ago.
I'll bet you Ponch takes him. Ponch will take him. Right at the very least, Ponch is sitting with McCaffrey and Derrick Henry and Debo. I could see him grabbing Cooper Kupp here if the Hamburglar or Hoosier doesn't do it.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, Hoosier asked a good question. Does it help to show your blind spots? It does. And I'll tell you what, doing this, like building my rankings for this, I might do. There's one thing I'm going to do with my rankings moving forward is I'm just going to take the guys that I'm 100% never drafting and potentially, and do what Howard did, sit down and draft them a couple times. And then I'm going to remove them from one set of rankings completely and just have a set of rankings of just my guys and just stop. Because, you spend so much time going through, I got to mark this guy red. Somebody else picked them, and I'm marking all these guys off that I'll never take. I'm just going to get rid of them in one set of rankings and see what that looks like too.
There goes Kupp right off the board there. Hoosier grabs him.
Finally. Fourth round.
Killing me.
The 11th pick of the fourth round, the player with the greatest wide receiver fantasy season of all time gets picked. Playing with the same quarterback that he played with that year, and it was 2 years ago.
I love the fact that we're doing that. I mean, listen, this is we talked about this on the Fantasy Alarm Show, right? When we put together our all wish list team, guys who everybody is so in on right now that they have to pop. If they don't pop, then you're going albatross RB, right off the bat, and you're killing yourself. But Cooper Kupp, Puka Nacua. Is there a legit 3-round difference here between these two guys? I don't think so. I get it. Kupp wasn't healthy last year, but and he's getting a little older. But Puka is that's fresh in everybody's mind right now, and people are ignoring Cooper Kupp. And I agree with you. I think that is a huge mistake. And to let him go here to the tail end of the 4th round, that's definitely not something I'd be doing.
It's insanity. And let me ask this question, Howard, right? Because everybody in the world has decided that Puka Nacua is now better than Cooper Kupp. Now, in real life football, if again, 31 NFL teams would be part of the world, if they agree that Puka Nacua is now better than Cooper Kupp, don't you think that this year they're going to put more emphasis on Puka Nacua than they did last year? Right? Because last year, obviously, every team that comes in says we got to stop Cooper Kupp. Now this year, isn't that focus going to shift? Isn't he going to face the same issues that we went through this with Chris Godwin briefly, where he outscored Mike Evans and now he gets tougher coverage. Calvin Ridley, when Julio Jones was gone, tougher coverage. I say it, saying it alongside the name Puka Nacua. Dare I say, Juju Smith-Schuster faced much tougher coverage once Antonio Brown was out of the equation, and he did not do well under those circumstances, to say the least. So you got to be very careful with that.
Do you find it weird that Jalen Hurts is still on the board and we've already seen like Anthony Richardson come off the board? Do you find that odd?
It's driving me nuts. Somebody pick these players, dude. Why is this the draft where people are skipping all these like elite guys?
I find it incredibly enjoyable, actually. I really, really do.
I'm taking Jalen Hurts. I'm changing my strategy. I'm winning $60.
Well, I mean, listen, if there was ever a time where you're supposed to go with the flow and be fluid in your drafts, this might be it. You had the plan of what you wanted to do, but if people are genuinely going to continuously leave this kind of, all this sitting on the board for you, I mean, they might as well. Here, I'll help you out here, and I'll snag your boy Kyle Pitts if that makes you feel a little bit better.
Thank you. I'm staying at least around ahead of ADP. That's what I'm doing. So I'm not taking anybody that's up in the next 12 here or so. But I will take this player. Now he's inside of 12. I'll take this guy. This is a guy I really like. Boom.
Which guy?
Kyler Murray.
Oh yeah, I mean, I love Kyler.
Calamari. Give me Calamari. Hey, and really helped me that Sigma took Jalen Hurts there. The fact that I took Kyler Murray 3 picks after Jalen Hurts actually kind of feels bad. But
it's funny. I was just I'm doing a the Beat Howard Bender contest series that's over at rtsports.com. If you guys, by the way, if you guys want to play against me personally all season long, I'm doing best ball drafts and season long drafts. All right, over at rtsports.com/Bender. You got to pay to play. Not going to lie, you got to pay to play. But I mean, it's, there's different stakes levels. You can go jump in for 20. You can jump in for 30. You can jump in for 250 if you want. I'm ponying up all of this like money for myself, and RT Sports is doing me a favor here. So you go to rtsports.com/Bender. All right. And use the promo code Bender. You get a 50% match deposit on your first, your first time depositing there. And then just pick any one of the drafts. You want to go up against me in season long where there's fab bidding. You want to go up against me in season long where it's just straight waiver priority. You want to take me on in some best ball. Like, go ahead, do that. I more than welcome the challenge. My goal is at least 100 season long leagues this year. I'm going to mess you all up 100%. Fantasy, and if you sign up, by the way, I give you a copy of the Fantasy Alarm NFL cheat sheet, so that way you guys can have my blueprint right there in front of you while you're drafting against me. So again, rtsports.com/Bender, promo code Bender, 50% match deposit plus free copy of the cheat sheet. But in that draft that I'm just one of the drafts that I was just doing right before I came on the show here, Coop, Kyler Murray, and I did it again, right? I did exactly what I did in the Scott Fish Bowl. Kyler Murray, Trey McBride, beep that boop.
And I'll tell you guys, anyone joining those drafts with Howard, go in when it first starts and add a bunch of rookies to your queue. I don't know what it is with RT Sports. They are buried in the ADP over there. I'm trying to help everybody beat Howard. We can't have Howard going 100 for 100 in these drafts and winning a bunch of them, because then he'll be.
Dude, come on. I got to pay for my move to Alaska. Come on.
No. Move up. Go in there. All right. Move up immediately. Put them in your queue so you don't forget them. Move up Mike Evans. I think they have him like wide receiver 27. Ridiculous. Put Brian Thomas Jr. in your queue. Put Roman Wilson in your queue. Put Michael Wilson in your queue. All right. Don't let Howard has been doing a bunch of these, been doing mocks. He knows where all the sneaky ones are. Don't let him beat you. The ADP over there is all over the place. Make sure you're getting your guys.
Well, I mean, that's something that you should do in any draft that you do, right? Like if you're used to drafting on one format, which, like, let's say you're drafting on Underdog and you're doing all these best ball drafts on Underdog over and over and over again, you're used to seeing what their queue looks like, what their the ADP is all about. You go to any other site, whether it's Yahoo, ESPN, or RT Sports, you're always going to have some differentials in there. So you always have to make sure that when you do a draft, don't be that schmuck who shows up 3 minutes before and then starts asking a whole bunch of questions and then starts chiming in, in the chat, being like, "What's up with these rankings? What's up with this ADP?" Like,
Right.
Go in, give yourself like a good 15 minutes before your draft and really study it. And like Coop said, throw some guys into your ranks.
That was JJ in our mock draft 100%.
Oh, totally.
Because he was in there screaming. He's like, "Where was Mike Evans?" Right? So make sure you take a look. I just now in the 7th round reached for a guy that scored 21 touchdowns last
year. Reached. That's the best thing.
If there was ever such a thing, right?
Oh my Lord! All right, I gotta make a pick here real quick.
You're on the you make your pick. So yeah, Raheem Mostert, 21 touchdowns last year. And whether, obviously we like H.N., he can break off big plays. Jalen Wright can break off big plays. And I think if someone gets hurt, Jalen Wright will step into a role. But got to keep in mind, this is best ball. All it takes is one touchdown, and that player is in your lineup. Raheem Mostert scored 21 last year. They just extended him. As Howard pointed out in the show just yesterday on SiriusXM, that the coach, Josh McDaniel, came out and said that Raheem, they love their backfield, and it's led by Raheem. That's what he said. I mean, I don't know what more you want him to tell us about who's going to be scoring those touchdowns. If there's a pass interference in the end zone, it's Raheem Mostert time every time. That's how it was last year. That's how it'll be this year. So I'm taking that all day. Here's another good best ball pick, in my opinion. And again, I'm still way ahead of ADP here, Howard. This pick is scrolling down halfway, good 20 picks down, but I love it here. I'm
doom scrolling to your boy. Here's another. This is a guy on the fantasy wish list right now.
This is a guy.
Right?
He could be a guy. And at least in this format, even if he's a part-time guy in this format, if he returns a kick for a touchdown, he turns a punt for a touchdown. He did, last year he was all over that stuff. If he has a 50-yard touchdown like he did last year to win a game, then I get those. So Shaheed.
I mean, listen, and I love the player, and we've talked about the fact that he will be like Olave's on one side, Shaheed, A.T. Perry, they're going to be competing for the work over on the other side of the field. And, everybody's in on Shaheed because everybody just, everybody loves the deep passes every time he gets behind the defender and he gets hit. But like, here's the funny thing is like the hype machine. I guess that's really what it comes down to. Because we all sit here, and everybody who's in this draft right now and everybody who's sitting in our chat room is a very, very strong proponent of fantasy football Twitter. And like when you start seeing the same things over and over again, this guy's going to pop, this guy's going to be amazing, this guy's the guy who I'm investing in, I'm planting my flag on this guy. If you don't have the knowledge of really why they're saying it, like I could say, I'm totally in on Rashid Shaheed, and everybody's gonna be like, why? What if I said, because I love the player, I think he's great. Like, if I'm not telling you the X's and O's of why he's going to be great, then you got to be careful with that. And I think that that's one of the things that we always worry about when it comes to it. We're sitting there with the Brandon Ayuk news, right? Brandon Ayuk demanded a trade again. Now, it's just yet another, tactic when you're sitting there and you didn't get to sign you didn't get your extension that you wanted. So you have to sit and, show the team that, you're not going to be pushed around and you want your trade. But I'm looking over at fantasy football Twitter and I'm seeing all this wish casting of Brandon Ayuk over to Green Bay. I'm like, what is wrong with you people? Like,
that would be horrible.
It would be horrible for Ayuk. It would be horrible for everybody
dude.
Except for Jordan Love.
Right. Yeah, it'd be great for Jordan Love. Yeah, put him on the Texans. Imagine, like, what are we doing? Put him on a team where there's targets available. That's what we want if we're going to move him around, right?
Yeah.
Put him on the Patriots. I don't know. Well, I mean, no bias at all.
Send him to the Bills for crying out loud.
Oh, that would be terrible for Kincaid, but it would be amazing for Ayuk. I mean, we have to remember Ayuk did what he did last year on 105 targets. Some of these guys are getting 150, 160 targets. Can you imagine what it would look like if this guy got 150 targets? Thank goodness someone took Lad McConkey. What is going on, dude? What are you guys doing? Lad McConkey should have gone 5 rounds ago. There's another one there too that I can't take because I made these rules for myself.
McConkey shouldn't have gone 5 rounds ago. Like that's
maybe not. Maybe not. You're right.
I get it. There's hype and we're excited about the player, but again, he's still a rookie and it's still a run first offense there.
Yeah, but if I had, so I think sticking staunchly to what I'm doing now, we'll have to see how it shakes out at the end. I would have definitely already been, if I had not made the rule that I can't take anybody that's in the top 12 of the current ADP, then I would have been back to ADP by now, for sure. Even if you take out the first 2 rounds, because it basically just means you take 2 guys, you double up on guys in the 4th and 5th round. I still really like my team. I think I could easily win this league.
Dude, my team rules. What are you talking about? You can't beat me.
Well, we gonna see. I kind of actually really like Hoosier's team. I like everybody's team better than mine. Well, I don't know, because my team is literally
Hoosier's team. I thought you said who your steam. Because I'll tell you what, here, you want to see a player that's being steamed up again? Boom.
Oh yeah, he's back.
Give me a weightlifting video on fantasy football Twitter.
That'll do it. All right, here we go.
Where are you going? What are you doing? Ah, the Muth.
That makes sense. That's a pick I actually might have even made, even if I wasn't doing this. I probably would have taken Njoku if I was going to take it there. But I don't know. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling good. Brian Thomas Jr. picked by Obi-Wan right there. That's a good pick, right, Howard? I mean, in the 10th round.
Oh, Obi-Wan, are you sure that that's the player that you want? He's in the Beat Howard Bender draft that I was just playing around with. And I guess he took a player, didn't mean to. RT Sports backed it out for him.
Oh,
I was
that's nice.
Really? Why are you backing this shit out for him, man? Come on.
Yeah, Obi-Wan's Obi-Wan's good for it, man.
I love Obi-Wan.
If it was somebody else, if it was some random, I'd be like, yeah, all right. But Obi-Wan he's goated. He's family. So I let him back.
Is he in the chat? Is he gonna make fun? Calm my chub down. No way, dude. No way.
I had to put that one up there.
I can't calm it down. It's like a flagpole, man. It's just up. It's up. See him squatting? Come on.
Victor says that I'm sniping his guys, but here's the thing. These are we all kind of like a lot of these guys. I'm just taking them way too early. I'm taking them way too early, and I'm just making sure I get them. And you know what? We'll see, man. I think I'm going to give this a run in at least one Best Ball Mania just to see. Because if it does work, we could revolutionize. We could change the world, Howard.
I got to be honest with you, man. If I had this team in Best Ball Mania, I'd be pretty damn psyched about it. I mean, I'm just going to scroll up just so you can see. All right, Garrett Wilson, Jonathan Taylor, Malik Neighbors, Joe Mixon, McLaurin, Pitts, Javonte, Deontay. Ooh, Javonte and Deontay.
Ooh, I like
JSN and a chubby chub there. Come on.
Yeah, I mean, well, maybe if you get into a Best Ball Mania draft and one of the people in the draft is just reaching by 6 rounds every pick, then your team would look fantastic. The problem is that at a certain point, I'm only going to have real weird sleepers left to pick from. So we'll have to see.
I'm trying. I was like, who's he gonna have there? I mean, little Mac Hollins, maybe.
You know what's really sad is that I have to now take Jerry Jeudy out of my queue because he's moved too far up, and it's not even a player that people like. But based on the rules are the rules, Howard.
The rules are the rules. Listen, Jerry Jeudy. I'm just
not
into it.
I know.
Just hold on to the football, man. Stop dropping the football, and we can go there.
Yeah, hopefully, if his attitude has adjusted properly, like, I'm not saying that he needs to be Chris Carter and just completely become a new person in a new city, but it just seemed like he had some attitude issues. I mean, and I know he's not exactly the sharpest guy. I think he got like a 7 on the Wonderlic. When the if you go on the Wikipedia for the Wonderlic, it says that if you can read, you should be able to get a 10, and he got a 7. So maybe that's the issue, but I don't know. There's talent there. There's a reason he went in the first round, and with the way he plays and Deshaun Watson, it's entirely possible for him to have a little resurgence, I think.
I definitely think it's possible. See, the thing is like you would think that a change of scenery would be huge for somebody, right? But I don't know if you've ever been to both Denver and Cleveland. And I'll tell you what, that is not a pretty change of scenery.
No, yeah, it's actually Denver's incredible. Yeah, we went out there, and I've been to Cleveland for the FSGA and the Expo and stuff. So yeah, I'm familiar with both areas. There's a big difference between Purple Mountains majesty and sitting down at the Jack or
Cleveland.
whatever what's that casino we were at the FSGA, the Jack or whatever.
I don't even remember. Oh, that's right, we were there for like FSGA or something like that.
I'll tell you that poker room 2 a.m. There are some sharp fellas in there. There's some interesting. Me and Billy Muzio were like getting in arguments. It was a real who's who in there of who's spent time in county jail. All right, I'm back. I'm back on the clock. I'm back on the clock, and I'm going to take Deshaun Watson, reaching past a handful of QBs. And I also have Amari Cooper. So we're not giving up on these strategies either, right? Of you can do this and lean into some correlation still too.
Sure.
So that's nice.
How important is correlation for you in a contained draft versus a tournament?
Not at all. Okay. Not at all. Even in the tournaments, I only use it as a tiebreaker. Who took Kamani Vidal?
That's Hoosier. That's your boy.
Hoosier. I was really banking on that.
I've got it right here up there. The comment, John and Pemba. It's very I should use this for food for thought on today's Fantasy Alarm Show. Who you want, when you want, draft strategy to live by.
Good. If you win $1 million with the team that you've built this way, it's that much sweeter because then you turn around and say, hey, guess what? Everybody was wrong. Everybody was wrong and I was right. The entire industry was wrong on this, and ADP should have been what I was thinking in my mind. And then you come out, then you come right for Fantasy Alarm. We all walk hand in hand into the sunset. Or you do what Millionaire Mike did, and you just buy a boat. You can do whatever you want. As long as we can tell everybody that the Fantasy Alarm helped you win the money, then you can do whatever you want.
Millionaire Mike also in on that beat Howard Bender draft. So I'm getting haymakers thrown at me left and right by some of the crew here. It's
I might jump in one.
Fun time.
I'm gonna jump in one, I think, dude.
Sure. Go ahead. You just go to rtsports.com/Bender.
See if I can beat Howard Bender.
I mean, you already have a copy of the cheat sheet, so you already know the blueprint. It's already laid out there for everybody. It's sitting in the draft guide right now. I can't wait. Like, that's what I can't wait. I can't wait to start seeing over the next, I would say probably next 2 weeks as we get in there, like where the hype goes, what the ADP is looking like, because I don't want to make any adjustments to my draft grid right now, because I think it's a rock solid plan, especially for where people are overvaluing a lot of the young rookies still. But I know that I'm going to have to make a couple of tweaks over the next 2 weeks, because as soon as like drafts are ramping up right now, you and I were talking about it. I'm in the middle of like a dozen different drafts, best ball and season long right now. And it's getting chaotic.
Yeah. Well, get them in now, because it's like, as we get into August, it's only going to get worse. So you got to jump in, beat Howard, do some of these with us, and then you'll be, like we always talk about, you do enough of these drafts, you show up for your really, really important ones, the big super high stakes ones, which you can do on R2 Sports, right? They have some pretty high stakes.
Oh, dude, I've got a 250 one, and if somebody's asking for a $500 or $300 entry, I'll do that too. Like I'm like full blown ready to go on all of this. I took and I'll just kind of out it to the world. I had this deal with my wife when I won the Survivor pool last year. I took a specific amount of money and I said to her, this is going towards football next season. This is going for tournaments. This is going for more Survivor pools. This is going towards, for all of that. And so I set that money aside and I'm ready to just let it all fly. I'm ready to invest, baby.
Let's go, dude. Why not invest in yourself? I mean, Howard, like, I don't mean to toot your horn, but you are one of the best in the world at this. There's no doubt. I mean, statistically, mathematically speaking, there's a lot of people in the industry that are very, very good at this, but there's so many people that play. We forget that there's millions and millions of people that play this game, and Howard Bender is one of the best at this. And if you can beat him in one of these leagues, kudos. That's why if you win one of those leagues, we're giving you a badge upgrade on the Fantasy Alarm Discord. For those that haven't joined us and aren't Fantasy Alarm members, we keep these badges. I got a little thing going for all these leagues. If you participate in one, you get the medal badge. If you win one, you get a trophy. If you win a couple, you get the crown. We keep going. If you win like 5, you get a diamond. Nobody's at 5 yet, but we're keeping track of that. We're trying to give you some fancy bling reward and show people who knows what they're doing. So right now, the only person that has the crown is Kismet, Jack Straw, Jack Senzen. He has a lot of aliases, but besides myself, he's the only one that won 2 of these family leagues last year. So shout out to him. But I think this year there's a couple people that are going to be donning the crown. I'm excited to see who takes it down.
Oh, Fatty McFats. I was debating whether to take Audric Estime to cuff a little bit of a Javante or Deonta Foreman to cuff a little Nick Chubb. And I went with Estime obviously first here, and then Fatty McFats just said, "Screw you, Bender. I'm taking your guy."
He swooped in on you, dude. You get swooped on. That's what happens in these.
That's the way it goes, man. I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it.
So
I'm all right, Fatty. Okay.
I have to make 4 more picks, huh? I'm running out of running backs, dude. That's I think that's the real choke point here.
You're running out of them? Come on, Ray Davis. Get yourself a little.
He's on the screen. He according to my rules. I think maybe in these last few rounds, I can get back.
What about Keaton Mitchell, Dylan Lobby, Isaac Guerrero?
No. Stop doing what you're doing.
There was somebody. So I was in the 1-9 chat for Scott Fishbowl, just to kind of throw this little fun tidbit in there. So I'm in the chat, and apparently there was somebody in one of the drafts who was basically doing analysis for the draft, and this person grabbed this player, which I find kind of strange because this player, and this player are still on the board, and sitting there outing different people's sleeper picks and things like that, and it was getting testy. I don't know exactly which. I don't remember what division it was, but I'll tell you what, man. When the person who was at the 9 brought that into the 9 chat, and then everybody just started piling on. It was not getting pretty. It almost made me want to start doing that in my draft.
Just throwing wrenches everywhere. We in the 102 chat, we have fantasy receipts in there. So I'm just in there.
Okay.
I'm just in there wondering what stuff I'm putting in there is getting bookmarked to get dunked on later. No, I enjoy that account. Yeah, they know that I don't like when they're like overly mean and just actually there have been some personal attacks, but I do think it's interesting to be like, look at this one. You know what I mean? Like my take, right? Saying like, oh, Amon-Ra St. Brown is, I forget what I called him, fancy Preston Williams or something like that. But
oh God.
So, but
that's really going after somebody, isn't it?
It is funny. Yeah, but so it's funny when they retweet that. And honestly, every time, as long as you handle it the right way, you get some engagement from it, some followers typically. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I could spend my time bringing that much negativity in the world. There's too much negativity out there. All right, Russell Wilson time. Let's do it. All right.
There you go.
That's
Get
it. Wrap it
yourself
up
your extra
there.
QB.
15 round draft. Yeah, I have 3 QBs now. Kyler Murray, Deshaun Watson, Russell Wilson. I mean, those have kind of been my guys. So here's my team doing this strategy just to give people a quick recap. My quarterbacks are Kyler Murray, Deshaun Watson, Russell Wilson. My running backs are Josh Jacobs, Raheem Mostert, Ezekiel Elliott, and J.K. Dobbins. Some kind of older injury-prone starters in there, but they're starters to say the least. My wide receivers are A.J. Brown. I did say I could have 1 first-round pick. Amari Cooper, Chris Godwin, Christian Watson, Rashid Shaheed, Michael Wilson. Doesn't look that much different than a typical wide receiver room in one of these, Howard. Doesn't look too atypical. And then at tight end, I got my guys: Pat Freiermuth, and Hunter Henry.
I'm like sitting here scrambling trying to find Will Levis, and I just realized that Sigma Chi took him from me.
He just took Keaton Mitchell too. He's really causing fun. I have to take Dylan
really
Lave.
Working my last nerve right now.
Dylan Lave. It's Laube, actually, I guess. Dylan Laube. I have
Laube.
A few, what should be like an 18th round pick. I'll take him in the 6th. Let me take a little peek here. A little peek see.
Yeah, your team is pretty atrocious. I'm not gonna lie.
I don't think it is though.
I'm kidding.
This could be the highest. I mean, dude, what if I'm right about everything?
What if you're right about what?
What if I'm just right about everything and all these guys are great?
Oh, well, yeah. Listen, if you're right about everything, Coop, power to you, baby. Mazel tov.
Happy lottery day.
Happy lottery day.
I do got to make.
You're all in on that, man. You're gonna have to call up. You're gonna have to call up the fantasy alarm. So it's Jim Bowden's back from the All-Star break. So Coop's gonna be with me on the fantasy alarm show for everybody who wants to know. At least twice a week.
Yeah.
Jim's going to 3 days a week. Coop's twice a week because we want to make sure that we're getting everybody, a lot of the insights that you're hearing and seeing on Fantasy Alarm itself. So making sure that Coop is there with me on the show at least twice a week is going to be a priority. But you might have to call up today because we are talking about on National Lottery Day. The question we're asking everybody is if you won the lottery, what is your treat yourself?
Yeah.
Buy. Like, don't tell me you're buying a house, or you're paying off your debt, or you're gonna buy a boat. Like, give me something like really
crazy. Yeah. Well, I gotta ask Howard, besides fantasy football, but so let's say besides sports entirely, what is your favorite way of playing the lottery?
What's my favorite way of playing?
For instance, I actually oddly, I know it's a sucker game and I never win, but I do kind of like playing Keno. Like if I'm at the bar hanging out. Dude, don't laugh. When I'm at the bar hanging out, like with my dad and a few of his friends or whatever, and we're watching sports, they got sports on all the TVs. I like throwing a couple Kenos in there, watching the balls pop. It's kind of, it passes the time.
It does pass the time. It does pass the time. I am, I'm not a Keno guy.
Dude, don't call me a Keno guy, okay?
I'm calling you a Keno guy now. You're like my grandpa.
Scratch that. I'm going into the YouTube. I'm editing that out later.
Oh, scratchers? Is that what you like?
No, I'm saying I'm scratching that from the record. I'm not a Keno guy. I will occasionally play Keno. Picture in your head what a Keno guy looks and smells like. Right? It smells like a pack of unfiltered Pall Malls.
And massive disappointment.
Massive disappointment.
All right, here I'm going to take a pic here, Coop, just to say I hope yours doesn't pop.
Yeah. Boom. Can I tell?
I'll grab A.T. Perry.
Oh, that's a dude. So, okay. So there's only 4 guys left on my list to pick from, and I got to remove A.T. Perry now. I'm going to take one that's off the board completely. That I never take that no one takes. But can I tell a real quick Keno story? It's kind of a heartwarming.
Of course story. You can. I love Keno stories.
My buddy's best friend's father, Binky, may he rest in peace, would always play. So my buddy's best friend's grandfather, actually, Binky, he would always play Keno and he would never win. He had like the worst luck ever. So one time, my dad and my buddy's dad went out and they made essentially a fake Keno ticket, right? They went in and they make a fake Keno ticket where he won $500. and he won, and he was going crazy. We were all there. And then my buddy's dad took the ticket. And he goes, you celebrate, you grab a beer. I'll go cash this for you. And he went over there and fake cashed it and pulled $500 out of his pocket. And he said, here you go, Big. Buy some beers for everybody. And then he turns around and he's buying drinks. He's like, I finally won, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, that's my favorite Keno story.
I mean, you got to love the commitment to it, to pony up your own $500 just to make this guy feel good.
So good. I mean, it was his dad. You know what I mean? And he was
listen, dude. I wouldn't pony up $500 to make my dad feel bad.
That's true. Yeah, but he was gonna buy the beers anyway. You know, might as well let Bink buy them with his money. But yeah, I just quietly during that story took Ryan Flournoy. Howard.
Yeah, I don't know what's up with that.
What? There's a little.
Do you like that pick better than my Andre Yeshivas?
Actually, I kind of like that pick too, because it's like, who knows with Jermaine Burton attitude, those attitude issues, guys. You know what you find a lot of times is that it's very difficult to learn these NFL playbooks. It's a lot of new, like if you go to one school, right, and they're calling plays by holding up a picture of like a duck or whatever, right, and you see that like that's their playbook, and they call the it's like the system of calling plays is like bunch mesh, and then when you hear mesh, you know that if you're in the middle, you run straight, and then you get to some of these NFL ones, and it's a numbered system, and like a slant is a 2, and a fly is a 5, and you have to learn a completely new language. Tavon Austin, when he was drafted by the Rams, told reporters that the playbook looked like Spanish to him. That's why the only thing they could do was give him handoffs. Remember that first year it was like only end arounds? It's because he couldn't learn the playbook. He didn't understand it. So for some of these guys, like if Jermaine Burton is a troublemaker and he doesn't work hard, it's going to be even harder for him to learn the playbook. So maybe Yossi Voss can pop, right? Maybe Mike Gesicki can pop. Who knows? Maybe Ryan Flournoy as a rookie is a genius. He doesn't even have a picture on Underdog. But who knows? Who knows who the second wide receiver can be for the Cowboys? So spice it up a little.
All right. Well, draft is officially in the books. Here's the draft and Pemba's a Keno guy.
And I will say this, Howard,
with his plain hot dog and his plain hamburger and his scoop of vanilla ice cream.
Vanilla ice cream. Yeah. I lost my dad in Spearmint Rhino in Vegas. Straight bone, dude. That's a good dad day right there. That's a good dad day. Yeah. Obi-Wan finally joining the chat. Obi-Wan, we were talking about you earlier, Dom. Check that out. You might have to rewind. But I will say this, Howard. Playing with only sharp Fantasy Alarm members and not having guests in here to bumble around and use all the clock. We just did that draft in like
record
30 minutes. That was the fastest underdog draft I've ever been in.
Yeah, me too. And look at the board, man. The board looks, it looks pretty much intact to where it's been. Although I'll tell you what, seeing Sammy Laporta drop to the 3rd round there, look at all of that orange. Look at all of those wide receivers in the first 2 rounds. Look at that.
Yeah. So I'm projected to score 2,665 points, which I got to imagine is the lowest. Ponch, 2,800, almost 2,900. Hoosier's right there with me, 2,600. And he was also taking all my guys. Hamburger, we projected 2,900.
I'm at 2,768, man. I'm in there.
Crockett Martin projected over 3,000.
Ooh, over 3,000. Where's Crockett's team?
I got it right here.
4?
He's CDM 82.
Okay, so Jamar Chase, Brandon Ayuk, Kyron Williams, Lamar Jackson, Rashad White. I hate Rashad White.
Yeah.
Najee Harris, Jake Ferguson, Joe Burrow, okay, Lad McConkey, the overdrafted Dontavian Wicks, Jerry Pukey, Dalton Schultz, Rico No Dowdle, Pop Douglas, Quentin Johnson, Bryce Young. How is he projected to have the top? Come on.
His quarterback, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow. I will say it is a little thin at running back. 4 running backs.
Kyron White, Najee, and Dowdle. Yeah.
If Dowdle doesn't get that start, if Dowdle doesn't get a full role, you basically have 3 running backs. But I mean, I don't know. System says 3,000. Jay Gord, that's our buddy Steele Lifer. He's also projected up that 3,000 mark. Icy over 3,000. Let's look at Icy's team. Icy's quarterbacks here. Or actually, you got the board up there, right?
Yeah, I got the board right here. He's his quarterbacks are C.J. Stroud, Tua Tagovailoa, and Geno Smith. His running backs: Alvin Kamara, Kenneth Walker, Zamir White, Tony Pollard, Blake Corum, and Damian Pierce. Tyreek, Drake London, and then here you go: Keon Coleman, Mike Williams, Jacoby Myers, Xavier Legette. All right, so a little thin, I'd say, at wide receiver.
Icy really threw a big wrench in my strategy when he took Alvin Kamara. He also reached on Kamara, and I had that one just penciled in. I thought that I was planning on taking him in like the third round, fourth round, and Icy took him. He took him early. I felt Icy took him pick 43, Howard, which is the beginning of the fourth round, and that really cooked me because his ADP is 77, and Icy took him at 43. Icy ruined my show. Icy ruined the show. Just kidding, Icy. I love you, dude. Also projected for over 3,000 is Rare Lynn 78, and this team has a lot of good wide receivers that I like. As Impemba pointed out in his article, and I'll tell you guys, check out the wide receiver tiers article in the draft guide because that's what spawned this idea.
Let me hide this. Let's bring us back into play here, and let's make sure everybody knows if you guys want to get the draft guide, and this is just the draft guide. It comes with the cheat sheet. It comes with all the articles, and it also comes with the Discord access and everything like that. You can get the draft guide right here. Hit that QR code or go to fantasyalarm.com/draft and just make that purchase. We've talked about the fact that if you go and you get the monthly, you're with the 50% off discount of Let's Go, it's actually cheaper for that first month of the season, of your season, to do that and right, to get it that way. You'll benefit more in the long run there. But if you just want the draft guide, this is the QR code. Zap it, get it. Everything's content's rolling out left and right, and you're going to want to do that. So that's the draft guide. If you want to go full blown, here it is. FantasyAlarm.com/win. Promo code Let's Go gets you 50% off. All right, so now please your pitch here about John's article in the draft guide.
Yes, check out this article in the draft guide, his wide receiver tiers, because he went through and checked out the different tiers. He tells you what guys he likes. Just as importantly, he tells you what guys he doesn't like. And in reading it, I realized that I agreed with him, that he said, I don't really like many of the wide receivers in the second round. And I'm willing to skip them. I'm willing to have my wide receiver room be guys like Jalen Waddle and Chris Godwin who are going later. And I thought to myself, I don't really like a ton of the guys going in the second and third round in general. Running backs and wide receivers. I feel like some of them are steamed up. We talk about guys like Tank Dell and these guys where people are chasing last year, or they're assuming things are going to happen that might not happen. They're picking a lot of the rookies, which I'm not, I'm not too crazy about picking like a Malik Neighbors. So that's why I came to this idea, reading that article. So, and that's what we try to do at Fantasy Alarm. Howard talks about it all the time. We're trying to teach you to be a better fantasy gamer. Obviously, we have all the rankings in there. You can just go in and buy the guide and just use the rankings, and that does work. But if you actually read the articles, you'll become a better gamer yourself. It's like in Super Mario. Like your Mario, the draft guide is that mushroom that lets you like throw a fireball, right? Like there's a version of you that is potentially better at this game than we are, and we're going to see it with the Beat Howard Bender drafts. And if you take our information, incorporate it into your information, that's how you become that fire spewing dragon. So that's my pitch on that. And you also get in the Discord. I could show people what the Discord looks like if you want, real quick, Aaron. For people that have never seen it.
Go for it. We got a couple of minutes here.
Yeah, let's do that. Here we go. So if you've never been in the Discord, this is what it looks like. All right. So people that just pop in, there's a bunch of just nonsense here. You don't really get to see everything that's here. Just for the NFL, we have a locker room. This is the one free channel. And then we have all these other channels. Start, sit. These are all behind the paywall. Redraft questions, dynasty questions, DFS questions, best ball questions. We're in here every day. There we go. I have my own corner where you can just ask me questions. Scooter asked me this question yesterday. I just answered it. That's just for me. Just we kind of chat or do whatever in here. And we have that for every sport. baseball every day, NBA, NHL, player props, PGA, MMA, where Mike Iannone basically just, is printing money, winning the left. What's that tournament? There's a tournament called the left hook. He wins it like every other weekend, right? College, we got it all. You can come in the trophy room and share the winner's circle. People every day. Okay, Tront, $500 yesterday, or whatever day that was. Like, there's our golf guys, $5,000 win, heat check, baby, let's go, right? This guy just won. What is that? Jeremy Z just won $5,000 the other day, right? It's like every day printing money. So come hang out with us, right? You get the draft guide or membership. We're in there talking ball, and that's where I post these in there. I go, who wants to play? Who wants to get beat up? Who wants to watch me draft a terrible team? That's what we do. So.
Hey, Danny Finns fan, I don't think you're crazy to take 3 or 4 running backs in a row, rounds 1 through 4, because I'll tell you what, man, as long as you're pounding, especially in best ball, in season long, you want to do that, go ahead and do that. As long as, though, in the middle to late rounds, you're pounding the wide receiver position to give yourself enough options. I love having that strong base with the running back. So I'm fine with it. I mean, that's that robust RB. We were trying to define these yesterday. Robust RB versus hero / anchor RB / zero RB versus albatross RB. For the record, albatross RB is when you take a guy who you just know is going to just shit it up for the entire season for you, and it just sinks your pick, i.e. Nick Chubb getting hurt or Bijan Robinson playing for Arthur Smith.
Yeah. Now, Danny, I will say one thing. I've done that strategy a bunch in these best balls. And if you do that, go all the way with it. Okay. Because if you draft 3 good running backs and you don't take a 4th good running back, what you have to do later is you end up still having to draft. Like, so say you take 3 really good guys, and then the 4th guy you take isn't necessarily a starter. Then now you need to take a 5th running back and a 6th running back. Go all the way in if you're going to do that, and take 4 high-end guys and then say, I'm done. And then just smash on the other positions. Because I've made that mistake myself where I draft 3 really good ones, and then my running back 4 is like Kamani Vidal. And I say to myself, I can't just have Kamani Vidal as my 4th. Now I take a 5th, and now I don't get enough stabs. Yeah, so make sure you go all in. But that's it for us today, right, Aaron?
That is it for us today. Again, thank you so much. If you're watching on YouTube, please hit that like button. It's a nice free way to tell us that you're appreciative of the work that we're doing here. Also, hit that subscribe button as well so you never miss a show. Coop's Fantasy Fiasco is back on Friday, so you're not going to want to miss that show. He and I are going to be doing a lot more things here on Alarm Fantasy Football. So there's plenty of stuff going on here. Again, here's the QR code. Zap that. Become a Fantasy Alarm family member today at fantasyalarm.com/win. Promo code Let's Go gets you 50% off your first month. You get the draft guide, the cheat sheet for both best ball and season long. You get the Discord access. You get to be BFFs with Andrew Cooper. Me too.
We're hanging, man. This is all we do. We talk ball. So if you want to talk ball with us, get in there.
Absolutely. So that's going to do it for us. We thank everybody for joining us here. And big thank you to everybody who took time in the draft. But we appreciate it all. We love you all so very much. And I guess that's going to do it for